Welcome to the Cheating Secrets channel. We hope you enjoy today's story. As usual, Harvey was sitting in his deep armchair with a beer in his hand, watching a baseball game on the big screen TV. Betsy had gone upstairs after dinner. He had no idea what she was doing, nor did he care. As far as he knew, it was just another night at home. However, shortly before 7 p.m., the doorbell rang. Before Harvey could get up, Betsy shouted from upstairs, "Harvey, could you please get the door?" "Sure, I was going to do it anyway." He walked to the door and opened it to see a well-dressed man he didn't recognize. "Yes, can I help you? I hope you're not selling anything." "No, I'm here to pick up Betsy." "For what?" "We have a date." Harvey's eyes bulged out of their sockets. "You have a date with my wife, Betsy?" "Yes." Harvey stood there for a moment, trying to figure out what to do. "I'll call her." He walked to the foot of the stairs and shouted upstairs, "Betsy, your fiancé is here." He expected her to ask, "What date?" Or "It's not really a date." Instead, she said, "Tell him I'll be right down." Harvey just stood there, wondering what was happening. When she came into the living room, she was wearing a short evening dress with a deep neckline and a lot of makeup on her face. Harvey asked, "Betsy, tell me, what the hell is going on?" "I'm going on a date." Married women don't go on dates with anyone other than their husbands. "I'm leaving. I'm tired of spending evenings watching you drink beer and stare at curling or some other thrilling sport. The most I get from you is a burp or a fart, and you don't even apologize when you do it anymore. When was the last time we did something exciting? If you can't give me any attention or offer a random chance for fun, I'll find someone who can." She jabbed her index finger into his chest for emphasis. "And now don't wait up for me. If I'm lucky, I might not be back until morning." She left, slamming the door behind her. Betsy got into the waiting car and told the driver to go. Once they were away from the house, he stopped, and they both started laughing. Betsy said, "I wish I had a picture of the look on his face. It was priceless. If that doesn't make him change from a sloth into a normal person, I don't know what will. Don't you think this might make him angry and worsen the situation?" "I doubt it. He'll probably just sit there wondering what happened. I'll be back before he gets too upset. I don't think he would consider divorce so quickly, but I'm willing to take the risk. Maybe I shouldn't have added that part about not being home until tomorrow. Oh well, too late now. Given how our marriage is going, I'd rather divorce than continue like this. Damn it. I love that. Full to death, but I just wish he cared more about me and us. Oh well, drive around the block. We'll go back, and I'll see how he's doing." After driving around the neighborhood, Betsy and her date pulled into the driveway and parked. Harvey didn't rush outside as Betsy had hoped. She went inside and didn't see him in the living room, though the TV was on. She quickly checked the downstairs and then went upstairs. He wasn't there. Then she called his mobile phone. She heard it ring. Betsy ran to find his cell phone on the nightstand. Next to it was his wedding ring. She quickly looked around the room. Several of his personal items were missing. Oh damn. Betsy ran downstairs to tell her friend what had happened and to check if Harvey's car was in the garage. It was gone. The man asked, "Where do you think he is?" "He probably went to a bar to get drunk. At worst, he might even spend the night in a motel. I can imagine him sulking like a little kid. He'll pay for this when he comes back and forgets my joke. On the other hand, his leaving might actually be for the best. If he feels bad because I had to go to such lengths to motivate him, I don't mind letting him continue to feel bad for a little while longer." Harvey didn't return or call that night or the next morning. Later the next day, when Betsy couldn't take it anymore, she called Harvey's personal secretary well before he was supposed to return from lunch. "Barbara, please connect me with my husband." "That won't work." "Betsy, what the hell is going on?" "Harvey stumbled in this morning and told me to shut up and listen. He said he's taking the day off because he has a lot of personal matters to deal with. Then he asked me who handles the company's medical insurance. I gave him the name of the girl in HR who deals with medical insurance. That seemed to help him, and he didn't want to talk to me any longer. He left without saying thank you or anything else. That's not like Harvey at all. Do you know what happened to him? Did a close relative die or something?" "Tom, what happened to him?" "I pulled a stunt that had some unpleasant consequences. As soon as I talk to him and kiss his ass, I hope he'll get back to normal. Now, could you transfer me to that girl in HR?" "Sure." "HR, Rhonda speaking. I'd like to talk to Sylvia, please. She's currently training a new employee. Can someone else help?" You? Can someone tell me what Harvey Strickland did in HR today? I can look into his file, but I need his permission to provide you with any information. I am his wife. Can you tell me anything? I can check your coverage under his policy. Hold on. Let me see. What a coincidence. We were going to contact you today anyway. You should receive an official notice by mail that you are no longer covered by your husband's medical insurance. You can retain coverage for 180 days past its termination if you pay the outstanding balance. That's the only thing he changed. A stunned Betsy just sniffled, "Thank you," and hung up. Why did Harvey remove me from his medical insurance? Then it hit her. She immediately went to her computer to check their online bank accounts. Half the money from both the checking and savings accounts was gone. Oh damn. He's divorcing me. Betsy couldn't decide what to do next. She was lost in thought when her phone rang. It was their life insurance agent and family friend, Larry. "This is Betsy." "Hi, Larry." "Betsy, can you tell me what the hell is going on?" "Harvey came here, canceled the automatic payments for your life insurance, and changed the beneficiary to the girls. You won't get any money. Also, the automatic withdrawals for the life insurance payments were transferred to a new account. He said he's sure this is how he wants it. I'll have to send you an official notice about the beneficiary change and the termination of your life insurance payment. I'm sorry. I assume you guys must be splitting up. Betsy, I'm sorry about this. Please come to see me as soon as possible so your life insurance doesn't lapse. Am I right about you two divorcing?" "Yes. Thank you. I can't say anything more right now. But you haven't really told me anything." "Yes." She hung up. 2 minutes later, their lawyer, neighbor, and friend Doug called. Betsy answered dully. "Hello. Betsy, it's Doug. Can you tell me what the hell is going on? Harvey came here and changed his will so that the kids get everything and you get nothing. He also removed you from the list of people who could be his medical proxy. He refused to tell me why and said he didn't care if I told you or not. Then he asked me for a referral to a family lawyer. I assume you two are having serious problems and are considering divorce. Listen, I can always change everything back if you two reconcile. I'm very sorry this is happening. Marilyn and I think very highly of both of you. I have to run now, but I wish you both the best." Betsy weakly replied, "Okay." The next call was from their twin daughters, who were away at college. "Mom, what the hell is going on? Dad called us all traitors to you. He said you're dating and sleeping with other men. Then he told us that he wouldn't be in touch for a while, so you could have the freedom to date others until the divorce. He said he took care of our future college expenses. We tried to ask questions, but he ignored us. He told us to remember that he loves us and hung up. Mom, we're scared that Dad might harm himself. Can you tell us what happened that made him so depressed? I'm the fool who made him depressed, and I'm trying to find him to apologize. The problem is, I can't seem to find him. Maybe I can try. Hey, I'm getting another call. Maybe it's him. Call us back. Hello, Harvey? No, it's your mother-in-law, Doris. What the hell is going on? My son called me, crying like a baby. He said something about you sleeping with a group of men in some nightclub. He seemed drunk, so I wasn't sure how true his story was. All I know is that he was very upset. Anyway, he said he's going to solve the problem by giving you your freedom. The worst part is, he thanked me and his father for raising him right. Then he apologized for betraying his upbringing and letting us down. He said goodbye. I didn't like his tone. He hung up before we could ask any more questions. He hasn't answered our calls since. Betsy, I'm afraid he might do something stupid. What happened between you two? I tried to get Harvey out of his empty nest rut and enjoy life with his wife. I decided to do something crazy too. Snap him out of his depression. I pretended to go on a date with another man. I was gone for 10 minutes. 10 lousy minutes. When I came back, he was already gone. Today, I found out he did some things that look like he's planning to divorce me. I'm trying to find him to stop this madness, but I can't reach him to talk to him. So, it's your fault that my son is planning to kill himself. Let me tell you something. If he dies, I will hold you personally responsible. Click. Betsy couldn't think clearly. She called all the local hotels and motels. Harvey wasn't listed as a guest at any of them. Betsy called the police and tried to file a missing person report, telling them she feared he was going to commit suicide. This information made no difference. She would have to wait another day before reporting it. Betsy took a sleeping pill to fall asleep, although the thought of suicide crossed her mind if Harvey died. Fortunately, She knew the code to the safe where Harvey kept his automatic pistol and ammunition. She woke up groggy and turned on the TV news. The local channel was broadcasting a live interview from the scene of an accident. This is Lamar Jackson from TV3 News. It seems that last night, Bender's Curve claimed yet another victim or victims. We are here with Sergeant Cantor from the State Police. Sergeant Cantor, can you tell us exactly what happened? It appears that a vehicle went off the cliff. You can see it bypassed the strongest part of the reinforced guardrails. The driver was either very unlucky or knew what they were doing. What is known at this point? Given the lack of skid marks, it looks like the driver might have lost consciousness, been under the influence of alcohol or drugs, or possibly committed suicide. How did you even know an accident had occurred? The driver traveling in the opposite direction called the police. He's here now. The camera switched to a young man. The reporter approached him. Young man, what's your name? I'm Sean Carpenter. Am I on TV? I just want to say hi to my mom. Hi, Mom. He grinned from ear to ear. Sean, tell us what you saw. Well, I was driving home when I saw this big truck coming towards me. It swerved a little, then crossed into my lane. I hit the brakes, and it suddenly swerved right, hit the guardrail, and went over the cliff. Can you describe the truck? Sure. It was a red Ford F-150, probably a 2019 model. It had a decal of a Western Kentucky Hilltopper on the back window. Did you see who was driving? No, the truck's headlights were on, and I only got a glimpse of the driver. He looked like a man. I don't think there were any passengers. That's all I know. Thank you. Sergeant Cantor, have you called for help to find the truck that crashed through the guardrail? Well, we don't know for sure what broke through the guardrail. We assume it was a truck, as Mr. Carpenter reported. From here, it's impossible to see what it is. We have a search and recovery team for the mountains, but they're currently conducting search and rescue operations in another part of the state. I don't know when they'll be able to get down there and check. But what if there's someone alive down there who needs medical help? Then you'd be witnessing a real miracle. No normal person could survive such a fall onto those rocks. I wouldn't risk the lives of those not adequately trained to attempt an expedition just to find out. We just have to wait for the mountain rescue team. Betsy didn't need to wait to guess what had happened and who was dead. She began crying as soon as they mentioned red Ford F-150 with a decal. She ignored the ringing phone. She had been crying alone for 3 hours before the twins arrived. When she didn't answer their call, they got worried and rushed home to be with her. Their grandmother had called and told them about the news on TV about the red F-150. Despite the absence of a body, they were almost certain that it was their father who had crashed. The older of the twins answered the call on her mother's phone and handed it to her. The caller ID displayed the name of a law firm. Hello, this is Betsy Strickland. She could barely pronounce her last name due to choking back tears. Mrs. Strickland, my name is Chris Andrews. I'm a lawyer at the same firm where your acquaintance Doug works. Your husband hired me to represent him in the divorce process. I probably shouldn't be calling you, but Doug persuaded me to do so. I was contacted by the Riverton police from Caldwell County. They were called to the scene of a robbery. The individual involved suffered a head injury. His wallet and keys were stolen. He was taken to the emergency room and shortly after that sent into surgery. The unknown individual was put into a coma to relieve pressure on his brain. The only thing he had on him was a motel room key. They traced it back to Harvey Strickland. Among the papers in his hotel room is a copy of the divorce agreement, which made me responsible for his divorce proceedings. That's why they called me. Your husband instructed me to handle the divorce because he didn't want you to have to deal with him directly in any way. I must inform you that you are not allowed to see him in the hospital. I based this decision on very clear verbal instructions given to me by Mr. Strickland regarding his relationship with you. However, your children are allowed to visit him, but I have the final say on visitor access. What? He's my husband. Of course, I can see him. I'm very sorry, but the directive he signed gives me, and only me, the authority to make decisions regarding the divorce and his medical care. I must follow his last verbal instructions. If you want to hire a lawyer to contest this, you should do so immediately. Isn't the divorce process halted because of his condition? No, ma'am. I was given clear instructions to pursue the divorce no matter what, although I don't think he anticipated being robbed. The Does this mean all the financial, insurance, and beneficiary actions he took won't be reversed? Yes, ma'am. All those actions were completed by him, and at this point, I have no evidence that he wants them reversed. Of course, there's no evidence. He's in a coma. This is just ridiculous. I tricked my husband into believing I was going on a date with another man. When I came back to tell him it was a joke, he was already gone. He got rid of his cell phone, so I couldn't tell him it was a joke. There are no grounds for divorce and no reason for the actions he took in response to the joke. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but that's what you're saying now. I have to follow what Mr. Strickland instructed me to do and confirmed in writing. I have no other choice. I hate to tell you this, but tomorrow you will be served at work per Mr. Strickland's request. Once you get a lawyer, have them contact me to discuss the next steps. I don't care. He's my husband, and I'm going to see him if I want. I forgot to mention, the envelope you'll receive contains a restraining order requiring you to stay at least 300 meters away from him. The petition he proposed is very generous. He stated that he wants you to have a chance with the man you truly want now. Betsy told the children what the lawyer said. It was impossible to believe what had happened. Betsy said she would go to the hospital, no matter what they said. The girls agreed to accompany her. It didn't take long. The hospital didn't have a copy of the restraining order, but no visitors were allowed due to COVID restrictions for all patients. They said that once he was moved to the ICU, he could have visitors, but only one person for 10 minutes every 2 hours. Betsy and the daughters returned home unsatisfied. By the time Harvey was moved to the ICU, the restraining order had already been issued. One daughter could visit him, but it was of little use. He was unconscious, and if he understood anything they said, they couldn't tell. A few days later, the mountain search and rescue team found the truck. It was assumed that the robber was the deceased driver. Harvey's wallet was there, but several hundred of the $6,000 were missing. This was likely due to the few bottles of rare Kentucky bourbon found. One was more than half empty. As time passed, Betsy found herself in a difficult financial situation. Harvey had forgotten to transfer his paycheck deposit into the couple's joint account, which was used to pay the mortgage and other bills. Betsy did hire a lawyer, who filed a court request to grant her access to half of the money remaining in the account. Finally, the time came to bring Harvey out of the drug-induced coma and wake him up. When he awoke, he said he didn't know who he was. The diagnosis was temporary amnesia. Linda, one of the twins, brought photos and shared memories to refresh his memory. All efforts were in vain. He didn't even remember the lawyer who held his power of attorney. In his condition, he was deemed insufficiently informed to have the restraining order lifted. When Harvey came out of the coma, he was given a memory test to determine if he had amnesia. Harvey quickly realized what they were doing and decided to pretend. He was told that his daughters wanted to see him. Carol, the other twin, was the first to see him. He asked her who she was. "Dad, I'm one of your daughters, Carol. You were attacked and went into a coma. We've been waiting for you to wake up." "We?" "Yes, Linda. Mom, your wife and I." "I have a wife." "Yes. Why isn't she here?" "She's not allowed to come. You two had a misunderstanding, and there's a restraining order against her visiting." "My God. Does she want to harm me?" "No, Dad. She poses no threat to you." "You were really angry with her." "Why?" "She pretended to go on a date with another man. Before she could come back to tell you it was a joke, you left and started the divorce process. Now that you're awake, you can stop all of this." "How do I know she didn't go on the date?" "She says she didn't." "Didn't you just say she said she was going on a date?" "Yes, but that was a lie." "So, she lied about going on a date, but is now telling the truth about not going on a date." "I might not remember you or her, but I'm not a fool. I must have taken steps to protect myself." "Sorry, miss, but your 10 minutes are up. You'll have to leave now." 2 hours later, his second daughter arrived. "I talked to you earlier, didn't I?" "No, that was my twin sister, Carol. I'm Linda. Don't you recognize me?" "I'm sorry, but not yet. You and your sister are very attractive young women. Were we on good terms?" "I understand your mother and I were separated." "We were on good terms. Mom played a prank on you, and you were attacked and got a head injury before she could tell you it was a joke. You started the divorce process before you found out. You need to stop this, Dad. I don't know what to do. I don't know if you're my daughter or not. I don't know who my wife is, if I even have a wife. I don't think I should do anything until my memory returns, if it ever does. Do I have a lawyer? You have two. One for regular matters and a divorce lawyer. You gave him permission to proceed with the divorce. Maybe if I talk to him, it will help refresh my memory. Can you contact him or her and ask them to come visit me? Of course, anything to help you regain your memory. Dad, can you let Mom visit you? It's killing her that she can't see you and apologize. I don't think I would feel safe around her. Maybe later. Mr. Strickland, I'm Chris Andrews, your family law attorney. Do you remember me? Is everything we discussed confidential? Absolutely. Good. I don't have any amnesia. I'm trying to figure out what to do about the divorce. What I remember is that I told you to give her enough so she could move on without me. That's correct. She was served and got a lawyer. Do you want to rescind the agreement and stop the divorce? No and no. Can you investigate her supposed non-date and report back to me what you find? I can hire someone on your behalf if you authorize me to do so. Do it. Harvey continued pretending to have amnesia and kept talking to his daughters, ignoring their pleas to see their mother and stop the divorce. He waited for the report from his lawyer. The report arrived a few days later. The private investigators believe there is insufficient evidence to prove whether or not she went on the date. The man she was with swears nothing happened, but he's married and might be afraid to tell the truth. It's up to you whether to believe her or not. I was afraid of that. Thanks for the information. I think it's time for me to regain my memory. I want you to proceed with the divorce. Carol was the only one who heard him say her name from memory. Shortly after that, he told her that memories were flooding back, including the night of Betsy's betrayal or trick, depending on what to believe. He agreed to meet with Betsy. After hugs and tears, Betsy began. Harvey, it was a trick, a cruel trick on you to make you change.